Hi, I'm Andrew, and welcome back to Offshore Audio. Some people asked me for a bit more detail about digital stage boxes and selecting stage boxes to go with your mixer, or vice versa, selecting a mixer that goes with your stage box. So I thought we'd take a deeper dive into it, and today we're going to look at the back of some mixers, the back of some stage boxes, and some manuals, and we're going to have a look at what we need to know to make an informed decision about what stage box we're going to buy. Let's dive in. Okay, so the question here is, how do I know if I can use a digital stage box, or what digital stage box can I use with my mixer? First things first, to use a digital stage box, you need to have a digital mixer. But past that, you need to have the right connections on the back of your digital mixer. So almost all digital stage boxes that I've come across connect via a Cat5 connection, like these. So you need to ask yourself, does your mixer have those connections? It's a bit like using the wrong charger with a phone. If you have an iPhone, you use an iPhone charger. And then if you don't have one of those chargers available, you go around saying, hey, does anyone have an iPhone charger? And if people have an Android phone charger, it's no use to you. Similarly, if you have a stage box, but you don't have Cat5 ports here, you're not going to be able to connect your stage box to your mixer. What you can do in that situation is use an analog stage box and connect it to the XLR inputs, the microphone inputs on the back of your mixer. So you can still use the stage box, just not a digital one. The next question you need to answer is, does your stage box speak the same language as your mixer? So you see down here, it says AES 50, A and B. These are my stage box inputs, and the language that they speak is AES 50. Other mixers use different languages, and stage boxes use different languages. So if I have a stage box that uses AES 50, I know that I can connect it to this mixer, regardless of the brand. So for example, perhaps a bad example, but I can use a Behringer S16 stage box with this Midas M32 console, because both of those stage boxes use AES 50. However, if I had a Yamaha Rio stage box, it communicates using Dante. I don't have a Dante input here. I have Alternate, AES 50, and Ethernet here, so I wouldn't be able to connect that. Similarly, other mixers, like Yamaha mixers, come with a Dante port. And there's also other standards like MADI. The other mixers, like Soundcraft mixers, use that. So you need to look and you need to find out that your stage box uses the same language as your mixer. So if you're buying a stage box, make sure you buy one that can communicate with your mixer, and make sure that your mixer can receive a signal from your stage box. Watch out for things like this, Ethernet. Ethernet is not an audio protocol. That means Ethernet doesn't communicate sound information. It's only data, like turning up the faders and things. It's been marked here with router because that's how we connect the iPad to this mixer. So you need to specifically look for a language that is used with your mixer and your stage box. So you're looking for something like AES 50, Dante, MADI. I think the Allen and Heath one is ACE, Giga ACE. But either way, where do you find this information? A good place to start is the manual. If you look up the manual, you'll be able to find out the standard that it uses for multi-channel audio. It's a great tip for basically finding out anything in audio is, when in doubt, look up the manual. Another great way to do it is, before you buy something, go on a website where you're going to buy it and look at pictures of it and find out what connections it has on the back. And make sure that whatever you're buying, if it's a stage box, make sure that you're buying a stage box that has the correct connections that correspond to your mixer and is speaking the correct language. Now, some mixers allow you to expand. Over here, we have an expansion card. This is for USB connection, but on this mixer, you can also buy one for Dante. There's a pitfall to look out for here, because if I put a Dante mixer in this, I can definitely send information from a Dante stage box. But some of the communication doesn't happen entirely the way that it would if you were using a mixer that is built to use a Dante stage box. For example, if I connected a Dante card here and connected a Rio stage box, which uses Dante as a protocol, I wouldn't actually have control over the preamps in the Stagebox. So I wouldn't be able to turn the gain up and down on the microphone preamps. You can use a separate app, but inconvenient. So that's something extra to think about as well. Furthermore, when you're connecting your Stagebox, you need to be aware of whether you can daisy chain it or connect it in a network, or whether it needs to go straight in. For example, in these mixers, with the AES protocol rather, it's not the mixer, it's the language that determines this. You can't send this through a network switch like a router or something. It needs to go straight in. If you send it through a router, it won't reach the mixer and the communication won't work. But something like Dante, for example, is capable of communicating through simple network switches, so through a router or something like that. Okay, so here we are at the back of the Stagebox. And what was it we were looking for when we buy a Stagebox? We're looking to see what the connectivity is on the back of it. So you see here that I have Ultranet and AES 50. That means that I can connect my Stagebox using AES 50 to my mixer, where it says AES 50 on the back. You'll notice there was also Ultranet on the back of it. And that's usually used for personal monitoring systems, so we'll forget about that. But really, you're looking for the main protocol, and that, if you're unsure, you're going to find in the manual. But a great tip, regardless of all this information, which is great to know, is to buy a Stagebox which is manufactured by the same manufacturer as your digital mixer, or to look up the manual of your digital mixer and find out if there is a corresponding Stagebox. This is a Midas DL16 Stagebox. It works with the Midas M32. It's manufactured by the same manufacturer. So I'm almost certain when I buy it that it's going to work. So as I said, one of the most effective ways to finding out what you can use with your Stagebox is to look up the manual. So let's say that I want to use an X32 with a Stagebox. I can just Google X32, go into the first thing that we find. It'll be the product page. Over here, documentation, manual, English, that works for me. So once your manual is open, just scroll down to your contents page and look for something that would make sense for connections. I'm seeing hookup diagrams here. That's going to show me how I can connect up a Stagebox, for example. So I click on that. You can see here, AES 50A and B, shielded Cat 5e, so that's the type of cable that you need to use, and S16 digital snake. So right there, if you've got an X32 and you want to know what type of box you can use with it, what type of Stagebox, there's a recommendation. Another way to check before you buy something, of course, is to just Google it and have a look at the back. You know, it was an S16 Stagebox. You can see here, AES 50. So that way I know I can connect it to my Midas. Hope you found that one helpful. As you know there, gathered, there's quite a lot of detail to it, and like how digital Stageboxes communicate with the mixer is quite a complicated topic. But a general rule of thumb would be to look for the same brand that you've already got. If you have a Midas mixer, look for a Midas Stagebox. If you have a Yamaha mixer, look for a Yamaha Stagebox, and so on. Look on manufacturers' websites. Manufacturers often recommend or make a product that is suited to vice versa, the mixer or the Stagebox. And get manual. Look at the manual on the manufacturer's website. Just Google it. You can always find a manual, and there's always something really useful inside the manual. Sure, it might take a bit of practice to get your skill in finding the correct information in the manual up. It's not something you just open a manual and find, hey, there's the information I want. It takes time to know where to look, but it's an invaluable skill. And of course, also, it's how you connect things together. If you want to know more about everything that's on the stage, I do have a free workshop that you can take. I'll leave a link to that down below in the video. And as always, if you leave a comment and let me know, did this help you out? Do you have any other questions about Stageboxes? Do you have any other questions about things? Maybe you're putting together a venue or you're mixing gigs and you just think, hey, I have no idea what's going on here. Just leave a comment, let me know, and I'll make a video about it as soon as I can. And if you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel, and that lets me know that you're enjoying these and I should keep them coming, which I will anyway. Thanks a lot, and enjoy the rest of your day, night, or whatever time it is.